Necesitamos estampillas que cambien.
You are now tuned in to your number one radio station.
Violent people.
Radio.
Hey there, folks. Welcome to Violent People Radio, episode 42. I am one of your hosts, Sam Damasio, and with me, per usual, is Dan Rice. Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. An official, fully functional PC in front of me.
I do love to hear that. It's been kind of embarrassing that you haven't, but what are you going to do?
I would say very embarrassing.
The systems have let you down severely, week after week. And also, back with us, Pat. Pat, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you? Am I the only one hearing a little echo on Sam?
No, I'm hearing it too.
I am hearing it 3.
I was only hearing 2 Sams, but if you're hearing 3 Sams.
Oh, well, we got a major problem. I'm trying to say it loud enough that it comes through on screen. It's coming through on Cole. Cole? Are you not wearing a headset?
I'm wearing a headset. Maybe
Wow.
I just have you too loud. I'm too close to my microphone, maybe.
Ooh, that could be fun. That could be fun. Anyway, who cares? Cole, that was your introduction. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you.
How we doing?
I'm glad it's old hat now, so we just do fucking whatever.
Fucking whatever. So let's start the show here. It's the only place to start. Saw 11.
Oh, I'm so upset.
They have
The reason Chris
essentially
isn't on tonight.
Chris isn't on tonight to talk about the fact that it has been rumored, not quite confirmed, that Saw 11 has been trashed. Major backstage drama.
How do we go on from here?
I don't know. Many of the past several months have been spent talking about Saw and our excitement for Saw 11. What do we do now?
The only thing a very nice author, professor from Japan, knew about our podcast is that we were going to ask her what her favorite Saw was. And I just don't know how we go on.
I mean, I'm not going to become a Terrifier fan. I'm sorry, but I'm just not.
I would love that if we all flipped over to that, but I know that I'm in the minority.
No, Terrifier sucks. It's the Cara Noir of like gory horror shit.
I was about to say it's the
Holy
GCW
shit.
of horror, so like you should love it.
No, the GCW of horror is what's the one by the child molester? Jeepers Creepers.
I thought there was more of the XPW of horror.
That adds up.
No, the XPW of horror is, I think, just the pornos Rob Black made.
Yeah, he
Fair
already
enough.
got care of those.
I was thinking the GCW of horror is just all the VHSs at this point. Every year.
Do they still make Paranormal Activity movies?
No, unfortunately.
They stopped, right? They stopped with Next of Kin.
Yeah, which was like the 6th one or something.
By the
They had a good
director
run.
of the great movie Underwater. And go watch Underwater, a good movie. Yes, when I go to the Wikipedia page, it just stops at Next of Kin. No rumors of another movie to be seen. I am shocked and kind of appalled. All right. Saw 11, How We Didn't Know You. Oh, also rumored to be about how Jon Kramer was denied insurance, which they're bringing back the insurance plot, which is low hanging fruit, sure, but also one of the most cathartic Saw movies of all of them. Very sad we will not see that come to fruition. But who knows? Oh, sorry. I need to get this off the chest. The fact that it's also rumored that they might sell the Saw franchise, IP, whatever, and quote unquote restart it. What are you doing here?
Who do we want? And because if like Blumhouse gets it, then like whatever. If Amazon gets it, we're gonna get like one, and then it's never gonna happen again. Or Netflix is gonna be like, all right, we're doing like the Young Jigsaw series for 6 episodes. I think it's really probably only going to be safe with Tony Khan.
He is the only man.
In a press conference crying, being like, "Oh man, if there was one man I wanted to have my footage, it was this man right here."
Just imagine like the Tony Khan red carpet walk with like Tobin Bell.
He could put MJF in him.
MJF in Tobin Bell?
No, MJF could be in the movies instead of wrestling. I'm trying to think of some positives here.
He could be the latest tortured Nazi.
Just like the great Chester Bennington.
I was thinking MJF would be the apprentice. And he'd be like the apprentice that you know, like, oh, this guy, he's not even going to have like a grace period. He's just awful from the start.
He just sucks. True.
And he also sucks at killing people. He keeps doing the traps wrong. He keeps, like, instead of like the shotgun to the face, he accidentally gives them like a winning lottery ticket.
I think it's crazy that the cancellation of like, the namesake horror franchise of this podcast really completely transformed it into a horror podcast.
Well, there's nothing going on in the NBA this week.
I mean, I'm not objecting. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, I see that Toxic Avenger trailer. Yeah. How did they get Dinklage to do that shit? I love it. That man loves a paycheck. All right. Are we ready to talk wrestling?
Sure.
All right, Cole. What have you been watching since you've last been on?
Oh, that's actually like a lot over the past couple of days since you asked me to be on.
Oh, shit.
Which always happens. You ask me to be on.
Just
and I'm
so,
like, oh shit,
just so
I gotta watch wrestling.
People understand. Cole was asked about yesterday afternoon to be on. So a lot's happened for him in the past day-ish.
A little peek behind the scenes of a professional operation. We know for weeks Chris isn't going to be on. We don't do anything about it. We go, oh shit, who can be on the podcast in 12 hours notice? What's Cole up to?
Sam has been asking for a week. Hey, who do we want on? Dan's making bits for the past week until yesterday. And then we're like, okay. Sounds good.
I only remember my bits, but I'm sure that's what I did, so you're right.
But what have you been watching? Is it good? Is it bad?
It's been mixed. I watched.
All right. Perfect.
Let's start. I guess we can just run down what I've watched this month because it's not that much. But I watched Nick Cage versus Drew Gulak based on the recommendation from this podcast, and it was pretty good.
Hell yeah.
I like that a lot. I watched Matt Tremont versus Kaplan versus Slade from ICW No Holds Barred 69. That was also really good. I watched a shitload of New Japan because I'm just like, they've suckered me back in with the Hiroki Goto run. So I watched him versus Tanahashi, which was okay. I watched a bunch of New Japan Cup stuff. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ryohei Oiwa. Yuya Uemura versus David Finlay. Hiroki Goto versus Yuji Nagata. All pretty good stuff. Nothing crazy that I was like, people got to go out of their way for this. But I was like, David Finlay has become like pretty good, or at least like maybe he was always good but was just miscast as a Jay White style sort of cheating, scheming heel instead of just like a mean brawler who spits in dudes' faces. Because now that he's doing that, it's like, oh, all his matches are sick and he's like not annoying.
Oh, he's working a Sami Callihan gimmick? No one told me.
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
They're bringing back the Switchblade conspiracy with the War
Hell
Dogs.
yeah.
I watched Suri versus Shuri from Surism Chapter 7. That was bad. I don't like Shuri. I think she needs to stop wrestling, especially these like long 30-minute draws. She just has like the worst brain for them. And it's not like it is her fault, but it's not, because it's just what Stardom, like what gets over in Stardom is shit like this where you just do nothing. Then from the same day, I watched the Crazy Fest main event, Masashi Takeda versus Jun Kasai versus El Desperado. That was like my second favorite match of the year. I think that was really fucking sick. And then I watched last night's Sendai Girls Top of Joshi Wrestling show. I only watched 2 matches. I watched Risa Sera versus Dash Chisako, which was like a hardcore match, which was just kind of boring. They were just kind of going from spot to spot, and there was no real build-up or escalation besides a couple of table spots. And I watched Ol C Hash versus Mako Satomura in the main event, which was a little underwhelming. It felt like maybe Chihiro Hashimoto didn't want to hurt Mako and was like pulling back on a lot of the strikes and throws. And it made it just look like she didn't give a shit a little bit. It was like the same effort she would give Jordan Grace last year in a match that kind of sucked. But this was still pretty good because Mako was working really hard.
The match that Dan recommended, I watched so that I could really understand her. 666.
I mean, you should understand that, you know, all of them are like barely top 75 workers in the world, so like you don't have to watch it. I mean, like, I'm not gonna. I hate getting like hung out. Like, oh, Dan loves fucking that match that involved 2 women in Japan. Don't lie. I said it was good. Watch it. I didn't say it was gonna change your life.
It was just like, hey, give me a couple of matches, and that was out of all of them. Yeah, watch the Jordan Grace match. So that's it. You watched wrestling. That sounds good.
I watched wrestling.
All right. I love it. There was something I was going to ask you, and now I completely blanked on. Oh, you said something was your like second favorite match of the year. What is your first favorite match of the year?
First favorite match of the year is Suri versus Mako from Surism Chapter 6.
Keep making those Seriesm shows. When will they stop?
Good stuff, except for the most recent one. The most recent one was like the first dud, but she can bounce back. I trust her. Just don't book yourself against another shitter from Stardom.
All right, Pat. What have you been watching?
I've had a busy week, so I haven't watched much. The big news is I watched 2 Sadika matches from March, so this is going to be a sneak preview of when Chris gets to them in the Lucha Roundup. First off, from Arena del Valle on their tribute to Skade show, where the main event, which I did not watch, is Dr. Wagner Jr. versus Skade, and I don't know if I have the courage for that match. Like, that's a real low ceiling kind of match, at least in 2025. But I did watch Guerrera Nocturna and La Brava versus Big Mommy and Sadika. And if ever there was a dream team, it is former AAA mixed tag champion Big Mommy and Sadika, the woman who you're not sure actually was ever trained how to wrestle. Great shit. None of it made sense. Lots of crowd brawling. Guerrera Nocturna went over for some reason, despite being the least known person in the match. Who knows? And then I watched from a promotion called NPW, King Shadow and Princessa Sue versus Junior Mafia and Sadika. And if you want to see, like, I'm trying to think of how best to describe Sadika's performance in this, other than like, it's like she was trying to show people how to be an unprofessional wrestler. I don't know what Princess Sue did to her, but Sadika just like stopped selling for her. Like Sue was trying to set up stuff, and Sadika's just ignoring it and continuing to do what she wants. I can't really say with any surety, I can't be sure that Sadika was like stiffing her because Sadika stiffs everyone. So it's like when she does a drop kick to your back, it looks like she's trying to end your career like fucking Sasha Banks kicking Paige in the neck. Like, it's impossible to tell. And King Shadow and Junior Mafia both suck ass. They're terrible. But King Shadow wrestles in a Slipknot t-shirt. So that was fun. Anyway, both of these matches were in front of probably like 100 people each. And I feel like Sadika deserves a bigger stage on which to just completely make for either the best or the weirdest wrestling matches you can watch. It's also worth noting that I had to do a lot of YouTube digging just to find these two matches because they were uploaded by channels that I didn't know with titles like one of them just said like War of the Women and then nothing about who was in the match. So it's hard out here being a Sadika fan. I mean, I'm sure Chris can relate, but he's too upset about Saw. Anyway, that's pretty much all I watched. It's, I could talk about fucking H2O, but no one has time for that tonight.
Let us know next week on H2O. I'm always excited to hear about Tremont's promotion.
Next week, I will give the full H2O rundown because I will hopefully have had more time. I will hopefully be caught up on H2O. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I'm going to dig into what I watched this week because Dan claims to have watched a fair amount of wrestling. At some point earlier this year, we did like a goals or resolution, New Year's resolutions of wrestling for this year. And one of mine was not focused so much on modern day or not feel compelled to do that. I failed immediately. I thought I was going to hop off that train. And then I tried to do a little 1984 wrestling project. And the footage I had on hand was a mess. Dates were all over the place. What I thought was on one was happening in January 1984 was happening in December 1983. And that is something that my brain does not work well with. But I can say that Dusty Rhodes versus Antonio Inoki from January 1st, 1984 stinks. It is booty juice. It is.
Who are you blaming it on?
Dusty. Dusty stinks it up. Dusty is putting on one of the laziest performances I've seen. Granted, neither one looks like they're trying all that hard, but Dusty feels like he's starting to spiral down the shitter. That said, great match from that show is Maeda and Fujinami versus Choshu and Yatsu. That match is great, even with it ending in a count out. Because guess what, folks? Countouts, DQs, what have you, are not bad finishes. They are just as good as the big bombastic finishes that people love to talk about. No, this one really works for me. This is maybe like weirdly my favorite experience watching Riki Choshu. A guy who I'm typically not a fan of, but he looks like he is just shot out of a rocket every moment he's in that match. So great, loved it. But then I caught up on some 2025 wrestling. I was throwing on the WXW Inner Circle show. So I was like, hey, there's a few things I want to watch on this. And I started up with Adam Priest versus Zozia. I want to say that's how you pronounce it. Zozia. Sorry. It's really freaking good. And I immediately am became enamored with with Zozia, and I'm like, oh, this dude seems pretty great. Like any match against Adam Priest is usually baseline good for me. Like, there's very few wrestlers I would be like, oh, I think that's gonna stink. I'm gonna avoid that with Adam Priest. But I had no idea who Zozia was. He's a younger wrestler. Apparently wrestles in Noah. But he looked immediately like someone to watch. He reminded me of Takashita a little bit in the sense that Takeshita, sorry, got my old habits. Just like a super athletic dude who like gets certain things about wrestling, understands how to react and make things feel big and legit. So that match rocks. Everyone should go watch it. But then I was like, oh, I'm going to abandon this show immediately and just try to seek out some Zozia. So I watched Noah to really expand my horizons. And said, hey.
Wait, no. Hold on. We got to be sure. Did you watch Noah? Did you watch Limit Break? Or did you watch Monday Magic?
To my understanding, to the best of my understanding, it was Pro Wrestling Noah. Misawa's Noah. I watched just 2 matches. One was from January 11th with Zozia and Ulka Sasaki versus Black Menso and Muhammad Yon. Match is pretty fun. Zozia, again, looks good. I don't think Noah's a promotion that I'm ever going to seek out. And even like this, I was like, okay, I'm not sure if this was a good idea to dive into these waters. Probably shouldn't. But I don't hate myself. I don't loathe myself. Same experience I had when I saw Ulka Sasaki and Zozia versus Daiki Odashima and Eita from February 20th. Daiki is also really cool. He's very short, so obviously I feel kinship to him. But he gets big dogged quite a bit in this match, and that rocks because I feel like short dudes should get big dogged a little bit. But then he does like 30 gut wrench deadlift gut wrench suplexes, and that also rocks. And then Dan, I will leave it up to you whether you want me to talk about or save for an episode of Talking Tourneys. I watched all the tournament matches of Ambition 16.
I say save it. I say save it. I think we're gonna talk attorneys soon.
We're definitely gonna talk
Instead of that, Sam, can we get your thoughts on AAA vacating the tag titles? They have taken them away from Jinder Mahal and Satnam Singh after 0 defenses.
Wow, seems like some blatant racism from AAA.
I would not be shocked if that's the angle that they're going with. They, to get heel heat, they decided they're just racist against Indians now, or I guess racist against Indian Canadians, Indian Americans. I forget where Satnam is actually from.
I almost watched some Maple Leaf Pro, but decided
that's
fucking
God. Nuts.
But instead, I watched a single match from AAW, which is now on YouTube. How the Mighty Have Fallen. And speaking of the Mighty Have Fallen, I watched a match featuring Michael Elgin's best friend, Stallion Rogers, aka will always be Kurt Stallion to me, versus Beef. Sorry, folks. It's really good. Go watch it. Gotta do it. It's a lot of dudes just punching each other in the head. And that ain't bad. Beef takes a particular bump involving a table that looks very unfun. One of the more unfun bumps I've watched in a while. Sorry. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Also, Silas Young is still wrestling?
Oh my God.
That's really Michael Elgin's best friend.
Okay,
the last real man?
The last real man. He's on the show. It said the 21st anniversary of AAW.
I should have more information before I say something like this, but I feel like Michael Elgin is like almost died and has been like getting surgeries done. But that's all the information I have for you.
I did think you were going to say is actually shadow booking AAW.
I'm just not going to look up any more into that right now. So like that's just all I'm going to leave you guys with.
I think it's safe to say that Michael Elgin was in a car accident that made his dick and balls switch places. So now the balls are on top and the dick is on the bottom. And the doctors are
beans before the
what
Frank.
they can.
Don't say the beans before the Frank. Oh, cool. I think it's pretty cool when you look up Aaron Froebel on Facebook. It comes up as digital creator.
No, because he's got a whole. You don't even get it, man. You don't get what he's building. That you don't get the kind of media company he's trying to build here. Also, he had 3 surgeries. He had like a blood clot. I looked it up. He's alive.
So we don't have to feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Rip.
You can keep making fun of him as he's alive. If he died, we'd probably tone it down a little.
Thank you, Liv Morgan, for doing.
Sorry.
I'm just reading this post from March 1st. Thank you, Liv Morgan, for doing the jackknife pin perfectly. One of my biggest pet peeves is when people don't sew that pin correctly.
Oh, he gets on here and he'll be like, he'll put like 2,000 words on like a random match on Dynamite. We gotta start publishing them. He'll be like, all these guys are great professional wrestlers, and I respect them, and they're good guys, and they look up to me, obviously, because I am great. And then here's 2,000 words on what everything they did sucked, and I'm the best. It's really good stuff.
Hell yeah.
Stuff that sucks. Who do we think Pete Dunne is wrestling at Bloodsport?
Oh my! I was so mad. I don't know why Josh Barnett tricks me every time. Every time he's like, "I'm gonna announce a big name." It's like it's someone shitty from WWE I don't care about.
I'm gonna be honest. Looking at the list of names so far, like I'm just gonna like maybe I'll skip this one.
Yeah, folks, do that.
Bad.
The only show I respect during WrestleMania weekend is Dusk Pro.
Pete Dunne announcement's been getting me in trouble for a decade. John Thorne got so mad because on Twitter I said AIW announced an international superstar coming in and it's Pete Dunne. And then he's like, they announced it like international superstar. We'll announce it in 2 days. We'll announce it in a day. And it was Pete fucking Dunne 10 years ago, 12 years ago probably. And I was like, that's your international superstar. And then he sent me a DM instantly going, is England another country? Is that international?
Oh yeah, that rocks.
And I was like, holy shit! Like I couldn't have hit like send. He already saw it. I was like, nope, not today, Dan Rice. Pete Dunne is a great announcement.
For some reason, my brain like initially parsed it as like you posted it as a joke, and it accidentally spoiled the real announcement.
And like that's during the period where Pete Dunne, I was living in America. And had been on AIW shows. It's such a crazy thing. I love it. You watch any more, Sam? Or are you done?
No, I left off on Kurt Stallion versus Beef and called it a day.
All right, you watch. I watched that. What is it? Zozaya guy against Angel De Oro forever ago in Rev Pro, and that was fun.
He's got a match for Hechicero that happened this past weekend. Then I'm waiting for it to come to the dark web so I can watch it. I'm not paying for Rev Pro. Sorry, folks.
You don't have any money left. You're paying for CMLL.
I'm paying for CMLL. They're taking 35 bones from me every month.
This is a rich man we're on the call with.
And honestly, they deserve money.
Okay. I did watch a lot of wrestling. I wanted to start with last week. I had my notes and I didn't write down that I watched Richie Coy versus Bret the Threat because I watched it minutes before we recorded and just completely forgot about it. But it's from Pride Style Wrestling. I'm not really familiar with either of these guys. It got recommended to me, and
by who?
Parm.
And okay.
Because I think one or both these guys are on the Dusk Pro show, and it kind of fucking rules. It's just all grappling. It's probably like 12 minutes. I've never watched either of those. I might have seen one of those guys in like, I don't know, like a 6-man on West Coast Pro or something, but never seen Pride Style Wrestling before, and it was fun. So check that out. And then this week, I watched just a shit ton of wrestling. ECWA has been doing the thing where they post old Tri-State Wrestling Alliance stuff because they're doing that big event, and they posted Abdullah the Butcher versus the Sheik. And I just think it's so fucking cool that this happened in like Pennsylvania in 1991, in like a high school. It's exactly what you think. Cage match has 5 minutes. It goes. I guess they're probably counting like bell to bell, but it goes so much longer than that. It's just blood and forks and screaming and going into the crowd. And I watched this and I'm like, holy shit! I love Joel Goodhart. I love TWA. Let me find this whole show. So I do. And it's fucking nuts that this promotion existed. It starts out nothing too special. Al Perez versus Stan Lane, and that was just a nothing match. A Rumble I didn't watch, and then you get Ivan Koloff versus Mandy Fernandez in a Russian chain match, which ruled. You get Cactus Jack versus Eddie Gilbert, which in a Falls Count Anywhere match, and I think up until this year the only matches I've seen from TWA were the Cactus and Eddie matches. And so you go from Cactus versus Eddie and Falls Count Anywhere match, the aforementioned Butcher versus Sheik match. Then you get a barbed wire match between Tony Stetson and Johnny Hotbody, which sucks, but it's still crazy that there's like, let's just follow it up with a barbed wire match. And then the main event, I don't know how I never like, I feel like I know a fair amount about wrestling and I've either seen it or heard of it. I had no idea Jerry Lawler faced Terry Funk in a fan participation lumberjack match. And as far as I can tell, this is a shoot. They had certain fans, I don't know if you had to win a lottery or win what, outside the ring, throwing these guys back in. And it's as stupid and as chaotic as that sounds. Like, at some point, there's like 4 guys that are trying to pick up Terry Funk at once, but Terry Funk was laying down, but they've picked him up, but they can't figure out how to like get him back in the ring. So they're kind of just throwing him against like the apron real hard. So then when Terry Funk goes outside, it seems like he's really just fighting for his life. He's just threatening to punch these guys. Hawaiian t-shirt guy from ECW isn't one of the lumberjacks, but he pisses Terry Funk off. So Terry Funk starts yelling at him. So then one of the lumberjacks is able to bear hug Terry again. I don't know how, like, maybe I'm a mark and they're all plants, but as far as I can tell, this is real. There's not that many people talking about it online, but everyone seems to think that it really happened. And as far as Lawler Funk goes, it's not the best of their matches, but it's just, you can't look away. It's just, the whole match is about like the lumberjack aspect, and it's crazy. It's also very strange because Terry Funk is clearly supposed to be the heel, but the crowd and like the lumberjacks are on board with that, but the crowd is not. The crowd is chanting Lawler sucks basically the whole time. So it's just a very strange show, and it's just, I don't know, like, if you're going to be a money mark, this is a cool way to be a money mark. Just be like, I'm just putting blood and guts in a Pennsylvania, high school. Outside of that, another thing I watched today was I watched the Damos versus Fishman match because Zona 23 finally put it up, and it is exactly what you want from a Damos versus Fishman match. It starts out super one-sided, which is Fishman just destroying them. There's so many fucking broken beer bottles in this. Damos keeps trying to put. Oh god.
I have an actual question.
Yeah.
How much taller is Fishman than Damos? Because I always get the impression that Fishman is a short king.
Yeah, Fishman is not tall, but he still towers over Damos. Much larger man. Yeah.
Okay.
Damos keeps trying to do the thing where he puts on the motorcycle helmet so he can do like a diving headbutt to Fishman, and it's just basically Fishman takes most of the match until he gets upset at the referee and throws a car hood at him, the referee, and that gives Damos his chance to get in and get his licks in. I haven't watched the rest of the show. I want to. There's lots of good stuff on there, it looks like, but it just went up today and that match ruled. Excuse me. Now, I watched a match yesterday that I could have went to live, that I almost did. It was a show in Chillicothe, but there was a lot of drama. It was that Dylan Hines, Rob Van Dam drama. I don't even followed that. So I wasn't totally sure the show was going to happen. And I was like, I don't want to drive all the way there for a show that might not happen, or that half these people that are supposed to be there aren't going to be there. But most of them did show up, and Vampiro wrestled Brian Huff in a lucha-style match that is Vampiro's Ohio retirement. So I'll never get a chance to see him in Ohio ever again. It's pretty much what you expect. You get Vampiro's leather jacket doesn't even come off until about halfway through the match. He does take at least 2 bumps, maybe 3, I can't remember, and he loses. And this is where it gets fun. He loses and he immediately stands up. Brian Huff's finisher is kind of like a go to sleep, but he falls on his back and kicks him with his foot instead of the knee. And Vampiro takes the bump by like sitting on his butt and then falling back. And then the second the 1, 2, 3 happens, Vampiro stands up, runs to the corner, and starts requesting the microphone. He's like, "Give me the mic, give me the mic, give me the mic," and he gets it. And I guess the idea is to put over Brian Huff, but instead he just talks about his favorite subject, Vampiro. He has been on 63 world tours. I wrote this down. He is a 33-time world champion. He's beaten Hulk Hogan, Sting, Lex Luger, all of the stars. John Cena used to carry his bag for him. He made Pentagon who he is today. It is what he is. Brian Huff, you'll be a star someday.
Did he talk about Christianity at all, or
no? He was
audience?
No. He might have the video. No, I think he stops talking before the video cuts off. But it's just very funny. It's just like 4 minutes of him talking about how great he is, who he's beat, where he's been. And he's like, and you're gonna be a star someday.
Okay, because when he did the Battleground show in December, what happens is he lost to Crowbar because he almost clotheslined Crowbar's valet, who I think is Crowbar's like wife in real life.
Oh, I remember that.
And then Crowbar rolled him up in like the world's most slow motion roll up. Then Vampiro immediately popped up and like got on the mic to talk about how if you're having a tough time in life, just put your faith in God. Okay. And it was just such a bizarre where it's like you could tell like he took this booking just so he could get a live mic, didn't he?
I still don't totally understand why or how he came to Ohio, but he did, and he put the other guy over. So you got to give him that. I was talking about it in Discord. It was mostly in jest. I wasn't really watching Exodus Pro Wrestling. It was on, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. But I'm locked in for the main event, the Final Flowers match between EC3 and Richard Holiday. And if people aren't familiar with Exodus Pro Wrestling, it is, I think, maybe currently the only NWA affiliate that's still working with what's the name? Billy Corgan, but it's run by EC3 and is the EC3 show. And they're out of Cleveland, and this you can tell that he really thought he was cooking this one. Like it's like what he thinks ECW booking is. You have run-ins by the heel groups, Pretty Boy Smooth comes out and you think he's gonna attack EC3, but he doesn't. He helps or not EC3, another babyface that helped EC3, Dante Casanova. But he helps him instead because he's one of the good guys, and it goes back and forth. And during all this smodge, Richard Holiday is like hiding from everyone. He gets onto the stage where Final Flowers, I guess I should have said, even though obviously we all know what that is. It's a casket match where you have to put your opponent in the casket and put flowers on the casket to win. He gets to the stage where the casket is, and then Ethan Page, who have also disappeared at some point, walks out of the curtain behind him in like a remake of that Undertaker AJ Styles gif. And the finish is EC3 takes Richard Holiday's head and slams it against the casket. But Richard Holiday wants nothing to do with that, and he is just stopping his head from hitting it a full foot away. Like, me and my nephew used to do the gimmick when we're at like gas stations where we would pretend fight, and he would hit my head against the car and I would slap the car, and I would hit his head against the car and he'd slap the car. We were making way more contact. Richard Holiday wanted nothing to do with hitting his head on this casket, and that was the finish. After that, he just rolls him into it and gets the win. And I asked, I had a friend on site, I had Juicy Pat Lucy reporting from the scene, and I said, is there anything I should go back and watch? He said a bunch of words about 3 different matches, and I said, well, there's no way I'm going to watch those. And that was the end of that. Outside of that, the only thing I want to cover is a strong style pro wrestling event. It had 6 or 7 matches, and I made sure to only watch the one that didn't have any Joshi wrestlers. So I watched Fuminori Abe, Akuta Hidaka versus Andy Wu and Masamune, and that sucked. And then I watched a Hayata Mishita, Hideki Sakine, like Shrek guy, big body, and then Murakami versus Anita Yoguchi, and a guy named The Shooter 2025, who I don't know if someone could enlighten me on this. I don't know what his gimmick is or who he is. He's just like a guy in a mask. He looks like he's just like a skinny fat guy. He looks barely trained. And this was fucking hilarious. The first thing that happens is Onita immediately spits mist in Machita's face. There's like 4 or 5 other missed spots. There's Murakami running around wanting to punch people. And like the idea is that Onita wants, like they keep doing like face off between Murakami and Onita, and then it just doesn't happen. In the end, surprisingly, the shooter takes the fall. And it was just a really fucking fun time. And then the main event was Funaki versus Super Tiger. And it was fine. It was like 7 minutes. They both look really, really fucking old and move really slow. But yeah, that's most of the wrestling I watched this week.
Dan, I gotta be honest with you. That sounds like a lot of shit.
The TWA show was awesome. The rest of it,
Okay.
I don't know. You can take or leave it.
I'm not sure I've ever heard a more indie wrestler name than Dante Casanova.
I don't know what. Listen, I clicked out of the cage match thing. He is an NWA champion. I don't know what championship he holds, but he holds one of them.
Well, this isn't like the good old days where there was 1,000 different NWA champions from every region.
Oh, he is
not
the
just like
NWA Exodus Pro Midwest Heavyweight Championship is what he.
Oh,
holds.
that's not true. That's fake.
I read it. I'm reading
fake.
it.
That's not true. What are we doing? That upsets me that you actually said that, if I'm being honest.
Sorry.
All right. So that's it. We're going to move on to our big top, which again, we waited to the last effing second, which is, you know what? Chris's fault for the most part, because he had this one locked and loaded and didn't only asked it as a question instead of saying, hey, you guys should do this for your big top. Which is, if I... What?
Sir, before you get to the big top, what's going on the site this week?
What's going on the site, Dan? Do you know?
Isn't there a Lucha Roundup? Or did I make that up?
No,
yeah,
it's ready to be scheduled.
I've been told it's ready to be scheduled. Have I looked to confirm that? No.
Well, you guys talk. I'm going to look right now.
The way you asked me, I thought this was like another Desert Island comp thing. I was like, did I just set you up for failure again? Fuck.
No. Which, no, you know what? Yeah. Desert Island comp did come out since the last time we had.
So I was right to plug it.
No, so if you were wrong. But still,
have not listened to Desert Island comps yet with me on it, and you want to know why I only listed 8 matches, it's because I told Sam I'm only doing 8 matches or I'm going to blow my brains out. He believed me, which, you know, it's kind of on him. But so that's why. But the missing 2 matches were Stone Cold versus Dude Love and the 6-man Michinoku Pro match from ECW Barely League. And if those 2 matches make you think, I want to know what else this fucking idiot would bring to a desert island, go listen to me on Desert Island Comps. I think Sam's also on the recording.
Very much so. Very much so. Everyone go listen to that.
It would be a good bit if you just didn't record your half of the conversation.
Oh my. That would be good. I should have thought about that.
I believe your next guest has already requested to only do 7 matches, so it might be a good gimmick just to do like 7 more episodes. Just let one less match each time.
He's already sent me half of the matches he's going to do. I will say he did it in an inebriated state, so let's see if it sticks. But so far, so good.
I feel like inebriated state and it being a male, you kind of already given it away.
So we got Lucha Roundup coming. Dan's got a piece coming next week, he said. What do you know what that's about yet?
It is about this guy named Grom Zaza and his magic.
Ah! One of the most popular pieces on the site. One of the most popular series on the site. So
It's one of the pieces on the site. You cannot deny that. It's on the site.
I truly can't deny that. I would never, frankly. All right. There we go. No one else has said I would like to write something for the site. So I think that does about do it here. That does about do it here.
Now it's big top time.
Now it's big top time. Chris suggested, and then Dan suggested, in honor of March Madness, what is your favorite underdog / Cinderella wrestling moment? Dan, since you quasi suggested it by saying, wow, let's do this. What is your kind of thought? Your choice?
I'm trying to scroll up to see where I suggested it. Oh, it's where I did a bit where I copied and pasted the exact question.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
All right. You're really hanging that around my neck. I appreciate that.
That's what I'm here for.
I do actually have an answer, and it is a plug for, which we already mentioned, a soon-to-be returning Talking Turnies. Sami Callihan, 2011, 16 karat gold tournament.
Really?
Do you think that qualifies as a Cinderella story?
I guess.
I mean, I think if you're going in there field against Walter, I think it qualifies. But
sure,
you obviously don't like it.
I would call it an underdog.
Yeah, we can count it. We can count it.
Can you break down difference for me between an underdog and a Cinderella story?
I can, but I'm not going to.
Oh, no, I can't.
Okay, all right.
I didn't. You know what? That is a good one, Dan. I'm sorry for deflating you on that one. Wasn't that? I'm trying to remember. Was that Callahan's first 16 karat, or did he lose the previous year?
He might have lost the previous year.
There was a whole thing with Chris Hero also being involved with one of those 16 carats.
No, it seems like it's his first 16 karat.
Okay.
But it's just the one where the fans literally like Spider-Man style, like carry him back to the ring, and so he doesn't get counted out. And
okay, so Walter had won the previous year, beating Chris Hero in the finals. So he, in essence, became the big bad of the entire thing and was the impossible person to beat. So no, that works. Sami Callihan, I don't know. That's one of your faves. It's a great tournament.
I think it's the tournament I rated highest on all of the Talking Turn episodes.
Love it.
I don't know if you guys can tell. There's a lot of people in my house tonight, and they are really enjoying.
Man, it's busy.
Really enjoying this.
Can you guys hear my neighbors arguing?
No, I'd rather than what's going on here.
Okay, no, it's just I'm suddenly very. It's loud enough that I can hear it despite having headphones on. And
should we be calling the cops or?
No, it doesn't sound like that kind of argument.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like a kids being awful argument.
Okay, I love it. Cole, do you have any that you would like to?
The first one that came to mind was Hiroshi Tanahashi beating Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 13, I think. Whatever the 2019 one was, his whole 2018 story of being a broken old man and making it back to the top was a bit of a Cinderella story for him.
He does have knees made of pumpkins.
What'd you just say?
Made of pumpkins.
Tanahashi his knees are pumpkins now, just like in the Cinderella story.
Oh, okay.
For one night, they became human knees again. And then at midnight, he just fucking fell over.
Truth. Pat, do you have any?
So I wrote down. I separated my notes into in the ring Cinderella stories and out of the ring Cinderella stories, and for whatever reason, I had a lot more out of the ring ones. The one that I thought of first was Mr. Kevin Steen, star of last week's episode. He went from a guy who was too fat to be on Ring of Honor television to being Stone Cold Steve Austin's final ever opponent in the main event of a WrestleMania. I'm not sure that you can have a more profound transformation than that, especially when people were convinced that the Stone Cold thing wasn't going. It was just going to be, like a bait and switch tease, and then they actually had. He got his dream of a WrestleMania match with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's true. That's true. You have a list. Did you have any others you wanted to list off at the moment?
Sure. One of them I just wrote CMLL fan votes because every year, and you'll discover this as a fan leyenda yourself. Every year, CMLL does the shows where they let the audience vote on who they want to challenge for various titles. And every year, there's someone who just gets a Facebook following or something and just gets pushed to the moon into this title match out of nowhere. I think last year it was Rayo Metallico. And he ended up winning the title in the main event of the show based entirely off of fans voting him from first match, who the hell is this guy, to we want him over whoever else was in the running for the vote. I also wrote down Juice Robinson.
Did you say Juice Robinson?
Yeah, I mean he used to be a scullery maid like Cinderella, unloved, unwanted. He was CJ Parker, literally, the hippie from NXT who had the same name as Pam Anderson on Baywatch. And then he went to Japan, and New Japan saw something in him, said, you can be a young lion. You don't even have to wear the black trunks. You can wrestle Jay White 10 million times. And eventually, people loved him.
That is very sweet now that you say it.
I also wrote Big Elephant in the Room, Chris Benoit, 2004.
Yeah, I had a whole I'm like, I don't know, Benoit, Eddie, Kofi, Brian, these WWE Cinderella stories. Are they worth mentioning?
Well,
sure.
Is it a Cinderella story to enter the Rumble at number 1 or number 2 and then win? Is that a Cinderella story unto itself? Or is that just overcoming the odds?
I think it's a bit of, at least it's an underdog story, if nothing else.
And all of those names have the blend of the real life with the on screen, where it's like this promotion hates smaller wrestlers, this promotion hates black wrestlers, and they come up on top. Sam, I thought you were mocking me. That Gram Zaza piece did shockingly well.
No, I was not joking.
I should write more of these.
Terrible to start, and then for some reason just got picked up. I was not joking.
I couldn't find it. I was looking at the bottom of the list of the stuff I wrote, and I was like, holy shit, people read that. That's stupid. All right. Another one's coming next week, folks.
Google said, hey, this person wrote the Hackenschmidt piece, and that actually got lots of traction. We should pump this piece up to people, too. There you go. I feel like I don't have any. Yeah, Pat?
My favorite Cinderella story of recent memory is Eddie Kingston.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that's a good one.
He gets an AEW dark booking. He's kind of at the end of his rope. He thinks his career might be over. He's making plans to go work at a fucking Kroger or something. I forget the details. And he goes and he wrestles a really good match with Cody, and it gets him a contract. it gets him TV time, and then he is able to take from there. He doesn't. He's not like one of those guys where, longtime veteran signs to a company and then just gets like washed away in the politicking or whatever else. He gets there, he makes an impression. He reminds people who used to love Eddie Kingston that they should still love Eddie Kingston, and he wins all these new fans who were not alive, probably because every new wrestling fan now is like 17 years old.
No, I mean, anyone is
And by
a great
by the
one.
same token,
yeah.
Swerve Strickland is also, I would call, a Cinderella story of someone who seemed to get slotted at a certain level, which is like high level for the indies, CZW world champ. But in the majors, he was an NXT guy. He was tag champs with Keith Lee. But once they threw the ball to him, he ran with it. He proved that he's not just, like fucking, what's his name? I'm taking too long to think of it, but someone who's stuck at the level of like, perennial co-tag champ.
I don't know what that means.
What it means is Swerve Strickland could very easily be someone who's just wrestling on Ring of Honor and like, does one collision match every 6 weeks. But when they gave him an opportunity, he seemed to instantly light up and ended up kind of a dramatic transformation from like just a guy to like actual main events.
Could Hechicero be the lucha version of this story of toiled on the indies for a decade before going to CMLL, and he seemed pretty slotted towards the bottom of the card, and now he's main eventer, beloved by fans. He main evented Dynamite last week.
And Shibata's like the Japan version.
Is Shibata the Japan version?
I think he had to overcome a lot because he left in a bad way to go do MMA. I think he had to overcome a lot of ill will from within the company. And, in addition to the fans getting behind him and, insisting
that
on
feels
it.
like a overcoming the odds situation. Because, like, even that, like, sure, he left in a bad way, but, like, it felt like purely political in that sense. Like, it did not seem like there was very much ill will from fans very quickly based on the reactions he was able to get immediately upon entering back into pro wrestling.
True, but I do think that they put a ceiling on him where he was perennially like the never championship guy.
For sure. And now he
also he had the Cinderella story of going from a guy who couldn't wrestle anymore because he had his brain removed to a guy who pissed off the company by wrestling an actual match.
There you go.
Have we mentioned any women in these Cinderella stories yet?
I don't think so. Anyone want to talk about Becky Lynch?
Becky Lynch
She
can get punched in the face. Who knows? Thank you, Nia Jax.
I mean, that's what I say every night before I go to sleep. Thank you, Nia Jax.
Would we call Ronda Rousey like a Snow White story because Holly Holm put her to sleep, or?
Okay. I just am not a good enough women's wrestling fan to be like, yeah, this is a good Cinderella story in that vein.
Stardom has a Cinderella tournament every year.
I have no idea what he said.
He said they have a Cinderella tournament in Stardom every year. We all know. We covered on Talkie Tourneys.
To be fair, I did look up today Cinderella story wrestling. It was just a bunch of Stardom results, and I was like, well, that doesn't help me, folks.
Yeah, I mean, they've had this tournament for 10 years, so it's gonna totally dominating.
That SEO is cranking. Dan, what were you gonna say?
I just can't remember. I can't remember Soraya's brother's name, like Ricky and Zach. Can they be the evil step sisters or?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm trying to help, you know.
Thank you.
It's so fucking crazy that they got a movie made about it.
I accidentally bought that.
What do you mean accidentally?
Bought it from Redbox and never returned it. I was pretty famous. That was like what I would do with my family. Like, you guys want to go to Redbox? I will never return these back in.
You know what? Redbox is pretty cool. Not sure why they ever got rid of that. Probably because people kept stealing the DVDs.
I didn't steal them. They charged I paid like double what they really cost. I don't have a case.
Oh man.
Oh, you know who's the underdog story? Cinderella story. Colin Delaney
Jesus Christ.
comes in as a jobber.
Can't
win a match.
Days. 0 weeks since Dan has brought up Colin Delaney.
I'm having a tough time figuring out Ricky Shane's Cinderella story, but I got Colin Delaney. That's easy.
Ricky Shane Page. He started as a yarder. He made it his way all the way up to becoming an independent pro wrestling booker man. For multiple promotions.
He was in a Cage of Death main event.
Yeah, Dan.
Okay.
Stupid son of a bee.
There you go.
Anyway, I like Colin Delaney, so I don't know why I rag on you. 2CW legend. He's going to be at the 2CW reunion show.
Oh, is 2CW a Cinderella story?
Honestly, when you really think about it, 2CW is a Cinderella story.
No, I'm just mentioning anything in wrestling. Is that a Cinderella story?
From humble beginnings in central New York, to being streamed in front of tens of thousands of people thanks to pirates.
Oh, okay.
So
I wanted to fact check those numbers for a second, but
you caught on once I said
I caught once you said pirates. I realized what you were doing. I was like, okay.
It's kind of crazy how Skip Sheffield overnight became Ryback.
But we do, I feel like I don't want to interrupt the big top, but 2CW, listen, if you're a fan of the show, fan of the site, fan of the Discord, sometime
you're a fan of 2CW.
Sometime between July 2025 and December 2025, 2CW's having a reunion show. We're trying to do a little VP meetup. So go ahead, just clear your calendar until we know the date.
Don't do anything between those dates. That'd be great.
That's all we need.
That'd be great. Anyway, Cinderella stories. Spike Dudley, Cinderella story / underdog story. One of the greats. 2CW legend, Spike Dudley. What's the laugh for?
I just think it doesn't really make sense, but I think Spike Dudley versus Colin Delaney would be good.
I think it's happened. I think it was okay.
Okay, all right.
Was it Colin Delaney versus Spike Dudley or Colin Delaney versus Matt Hyson?
Oh, sorry. Ooh. It was Colin Delaney versus Matt Hyson.
Okay.
It might have been Brother Runt. I don't know.
Tell Bob we need the footage.
It was sorry. There was a Spike Dudley versus Jason Axe versus Jimmy Olsen match.
Oh,
does that
this
help
is
you?
Spike Dudley versus Colin. He went by Spike Dudley at this 2CW show.
Oh wow.
This does all add up.
Slick Wagner Brown versus Jimmy Olsen main event. Bob, I need 2CW knocked out. Looks like no. Looks like a normal match.
Okay. Well, we're going to eventually review every single 2CW show in podcast form for the website once I locate a man's address. So,
did 2CW run any tournaments?
Oh yeah, they did. That was the first thing I tried to get, Sam, when we were doing Talking Tourneys. I was all over the fucking streets looking for this 2CW footage to talk tourneys.
2CW.
What about did they do any matches on desert islands?
They did do a match on an island. It's more of a peninsula, but let's call it an island.
Which island is this?
that has like a concert venue. It's like an amphitheater that goes into that juts out into the water. So there you go.
All right. This podcast, Cinderella story?
So hey, I thought this was a good big top when Chris asked it. And now once we've done the big top, I'm like, we fucking don't know what an underdog story is or Cinderella story. Who the hell are we?
I will say
my favorite underdog story is DDP because he went from being 40 years old to somehow WCW champion, and all it took was sharing strippers with Eric Bischoff in the Gold Room.
My favorite underdog story, Brett Lauderdale. CCW referee.
GCW going from being GCW to the biggest, like, probably the biggest indie in North America right now is genuinely insane.
Going from JCW to the biggest indie in the world?
Yeah, like going from what it was in like 2010 to what it is now.
If every tall person dies and I'm the tallest man in the world, is that a Cinderella story?
Yes.
Did you kill them?
Are you saying GCW killed the indies?
No, WWE.
And what is GCW hosting during WrestleMania weekend? Oh yeah, the
WWE
they're
hosting a big gay
tournament.
brunch. They are hosting a big gay brunch, so you can't say anything mean, or you will get canceled.
Big gay brunch. Not that gay.
Not that big.
Not that big.
I mean, how many brunches do you go to? It's going to have like 200 people there. Do you go to bigger brunches than that?
That's an interesting point. You're right.
Syracuse has some hopping brunch spots.
Like, me and 500 of my friends are going out for brunch right now.
I've been to some pretty big pancake dinners, but that's not a brunch. I understand.
Also, how many people are usually at these shows during WrestleMania weekend at 11 a.m. these days?
Easily 1 to 2 million.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. So I remember the year I went. You know what? People were really not gassed up to be out that early.
I'm not seeing an attendance listed on Cage Match here for GCW's FE Big Gay Brunch 9.
For a good reason. Anyway. Cinderella story, 2CW in 3D, where Jason Axe and Kevin Steen wrestled the Dudley Boys.
They should have done a thing when Alberto was in WWE. They should have just had like when he ran over Santa Claus, he should have like run over Cinderella. He should have he should have run over Elsa. Just whenever he needed a little bump in his heel heat, he just runs over a beloved like children's figure.
That would have kept it entertaining.
He runs over Lightning McQueen from Cars.
Hell yeah. Is that a big top?
I gotta let you know, Sam, there's a lot of fucking people at this big gay brunch.
Ah.
I'm looking up highlights.
No, that's not even funny anymore.
Yeah, there's over 200.
Shit. Good for them, I guess.
Just doing my quick little back of the envelope math here. I'm watching Fandango and Alley Cat doing some stuff. All right. That made me Republican. I'm going to turn off of that. I think we have a lot of questions this week, don't we, Sam?
And you really opened up the floodgates here. And they just kept coming. Were you keeping track of all this?
Oh, yeah, I got it all.
Okay, perfect. I'll let you go.
Okay. Normally we ask for questions and people ignore us and we have to ask several times. I think I asked for the questions yesterday and everyone in Discord's like, I got stuff.
You didn't even go at everybody.
No, I stopped doing that. I was like, I'm going to let people come to it.
You should.
A lot of people
it's
did.
kind of annoying.
Okay, well, turn your notifications off for Discord. That'd be crazy. I don't have them on.
What do you mean? You don't have notifications on for our Discord?
For any Discord? No, that's crazy. I don't.
Oh my god!
I'll check it when I need to check it.
That's insane.
It'll pop up saying like a 1 or 2 or 3. You know what I mean? It'll show me that I have stuff, but it doesn't like pop up in my like bar saying like.
Yeah, I hate the little fucking desktop pop up.
Someone saying like, "Oh, what's your top 3 fruits from Haven? No offense, but like I don't need to see that when I'm in the middle of a work day.
All right.
Top 3 fruits. Anyone got them? I feel like just your favorite fruit. Why do we gotta like hedge our bets with 3?
They're all going to be headlining Effie's Big Gay Brunch.
Okay.
Cole like that one. Cole like that one.
Cole like that.
I'll give you some for that one. I like that one.
Cole, do you like any fruits? As in the food, I assume, is what they were going for.
Yeah, big pineapple guy.
Okay.
Pineapple's great.
Really good. You have it with like basically anything.
I guess, yeah.
Sam, are you back in pineapple as your favorite, or you got a different one?
I thought we were doing 3. Are we not doing 3?
I think that's the coward's way. I want to know everyone's number 1.
Number 1, apple. Granny Smith.
Wild. A Granny Smith. I don't approve apple, and if I was going to approve apple, I would not approve Granny Smith.
Do you like eat Granny Smiths just by themselves? Because that's like a cooking apple to me.
A cooking apple?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an apple people use for cooking because it's not good to eat by itself. It's a peasant apple.
Sam is correct.
I had to look up Granny Smith apple because you were talking to me like I was going
to say. My favorite fruit is apple, and I do like the Granny Smith apples more.
Guys, you got to be eating Honey Crisps.
No, Honey Crisp are like green apples are not for baking. What are we talking about here?
But wait,
Honey Crisp
apples
are
are
good. I'm not going to turn down a Honey Crisp, but I like the taste of Granny Smith better.
All right. Well,
easily least favorite apple is Red Delicious.
My favorite fruit is
suck a dick.
Watermelon.
What the fuck?
You can eat watermelon outside, nice hot day. It's a cool treat. It's refreshing. That's my favorite.
I'm not a big watermelon guy.
We have some poor guy on all 11, which we covered.
Stand on the humble orange.
Oh, I like an orange. My family goes through some oranges. Oh, actually, we go through cuties more than oranges, but.
Yeah, well, didn't that show get canceled because it was full of weird shit with teenagers?
All right, let's keep it moving.
Okay. This is from some guy named Chris. In honor of March Madness, which VP host, including those who may not be on the show this week, would win in a one-on-one basketball tournament? Standard half court, loser checks ball, no blood, no foul. Let's get out of the way. Obviously, Chris loses. So let's.
How tall are you, Pat?
I don't know. I'm tall, but that's all I have going for me. I'm not very coordinated at all.
All right. I feel like I lose. It's kind of where I'm at.
I'm actually thinking Chris wins, but I just wanted to shit talk him because he's not here. Cole, how are you at basketball?
I was on my school team in grade 6.
Oh, come on.
All right. I thought that was real. Keep going.
I thought that was real for a second. I had a basketball in my hands less than 2 hours ago, if that means anything.
All right, so you and Chris are squaring up 1v1 to take it home.
Yeah, we got the finals right there.
Boom. We'll have to do it in Watertown, New York.
In Watertown, New York, folks.
Hopefully it's not December. It feels cold doing it out. Well, I guess we do indoors. I don't know.
I got plenty of beds at my house. So, well, I got plenty of places.
I thought you were about to say your address. It seemed like beds.
You know what? I would give it away. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, I'm pretty loosey-goosey with my address. One time, this was when I was like, I don't know, 9th grade. I'm playing Halo 2, maybe. I'm playing something. And I'm just screaming at a guy to come fight me. And I'm yelling my address. My mom's like, stop saying our address.
That's awesome.
She had to fight the last guy you yelled at.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I figured, like, you got to get to my mom, so you're fucked anyway. Chris asked me, I think this is just for me, what if I shot you with a gun? I would die.
Ask the answer.
Yeah. No, I would probably die.
He shot you in the foot or something.
I would just say pull the plug. I'm just waiting for a reason. You know what I mean?
They'd be like, we took this out of your big toe. You're going to be in a walking boot for a week, and you're just like, kill me.
I'm like, none of this. Give me pain meds and let me go silently. Domich says, thinking of tournaments now, do you think a double elimination tournament, like how Super Smash Melee does their tournaments, could work for pro wrestling?
Absolutely not.
And then I was told it's already happened.
Yeah, by WCW in '99.
And it didn't work.
Wrestling fans are too stupid. Like they're not gonna be able to follow it. Like, what do you mean they have to lose twice? Jim Cornette will rant about it for 20 minutes. Like, back in my day, if you lost once in a tournament, you were out.
I just think as cool as Cronus and Saturn made the move look, you can't just do that for an entire fucking tournament.
Okay.
What dead wrestler did Perry Saturn just insult? He's going on like a tour where he yells at dead wrestlers.
Bigelow.
No, there was someone post Bam Bam.
A new one.
Alice Mahoney?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? All right.
I just really don't remember who it was.
All right.
What's the next question? We'll circle back to this. I'm going to look it up.
All right, thank you. Because I can't, because I'm reading these questions. Nick Yearman says, in honor of March Madness, top 3 wrestling madmen. Cole?
Oh, we got to go with Gabe Kidd, because he's a madman, you know.
Great.
Right. Your top 3 is one. That's one.
I'm thinking real hard.
Oh, okay.
Who else is a madman? You guys gotta.
I mean, I'm just gonna say for 2, like Sheik and Abby, because I just watched that match.
Sure.
Yeah, they're madmen.
Yeah, I'll give it up for the original Sheik. My dad loves that guy.
Let's go with the Moondogs. The Moondogs. That can be all of them if I want them to. Oh, hey, buddy.
Okay.
Great. Pat,
we killed that one.
Pat. I missed the question. I'm sorry.
Your top 3 wrestling madmen.
Pondo, Fulton, and miscellaneous.
Perfect.
Okay, all right. Eamon says, what's your favorite individual performance from a wrestler within a match? For example, Shibata in the Okada match, Funk in the Flair match, etc. Sam, you got any thoughts on this?
Dan, do I have thoughts? No, not really. Feel free to answer.
Favorite individual performance in a match?
I'm going to have to hop off.
It's a tough question. It's a tough question.
I'm going to cheat. I'm going to say Kota Ibushi versus Yoshihiko.
Well, all right, I like it. It's inspired.
It is a one-man wrestling match. It fucking rules.
Which one?
The one that everyone posts and says, like, this crazy white boy named Kota Ibushi did a match you wouldn't believe. And then everyone corrects them in the comments about, like, actually, he's Japanese.
Oh my god.
This is a tough
Anyway,
one.
I'm not seeing anything about Perry Saturn, by the way. I think Dan is just, like...
making shit up. You think he's just thinking about Lance Storm?
I think Dan is seeing the future.
Ooh, I like that idea.
So deep in the Facebook rabbit hole, he's starting to hallucinate.
Yeah, I mean, like, I resorted to searching squared circle for Perry Saturn because I figured those fucking nerds will like jump on any controversial take. And no, I'm seeing the stuff of him talking shit about Bam Bam, but
Brian Christopher is the only person who ever complained about that move, and that's because he's a cunt.
is that the Perry Saturn thing, or are you just saying that?
Both, but the Perry Saturn thing. I had to leave the room first, but it actually was worth it. My niece knows all the oceans by heart.
How old is she?
8. She's got a test on Friday, and she's gonna ace it.
I thought you were gonna say like 13. I'd be like
34. She just got him.
Not that impressive, Dan. Sorry.
Anyway, I think Saturn probably has a point about Brian Christopher. He had to have been a pretty awful guy for the police to kill him.
Jesus.
My thing is like all the matches I think about, all the performances I think about, it's like, oh, well, the other performance is pretty great too.
Well,
So
even in like one of the two examples, Funk and the Flair match, I'm like, no, Flair's good in that match though.
yeah. So I was like, oh, Lesnar in the Extreme Rules match.
Cena match, yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
Cena's pretty fucking good in that match.
yeah, Sam, I think I know your answer. And it's Mick Foley in the Cell with Taker.
Sure.
My
You
answer
know
is Pat in this episode.
Wow. Now that's good. That's deep.
I'm just telling how it is.
I should be tired for these recordings more often.
You know what? I'm gonna go.
My filter is just gone.
I'm gonna go with Joe in Joe versus Kobashi.
Whoa!
Final answer.
Oh my
Lock it
gosh!
in.
No notes.
No notes.
I'm gonna go. Someone said, Katie Parker said Chris Hero, and now I'm thinking my vote is Loki in the Loki versus Chris Hero match when Loki kicks him in the fucking face. Jade says a Hulk Hogan lie that you wish were true.
Hold on, I do have one more answer for best. If we're doing like one-sided things where only one person is holding up a match, I have to go Chris Hero versus Kimberly.
What about anyone versus Kimberly?
No, because she probably faced like opponents who were on her level, and no.
Was our Discord recently like reminiscing about Chris Dickinson? Is that a thing I hallucinated about?
Yeah, we did.
No, people were just like, remember that guy?
Oh.
No,
you know what? Chris Dickinson was pretty good. Pretty good wrestler, folks.
Oh, great wrestler, better guy.
I will say,
that's what I'm always saying.
Hell of a drummer, and he hawks a lot of protein powders now. Good guy.
What? Okay. Does he sell that to David Starr?
And look how ripped David Starr is. You can say what you want about his dating history. The guy's fucking ripped.
David Starr looks like if he tried to like bend his elbow too far, his arm would just snap in half like the T-1000.
I have no David Starr update. Usually I'm telling you he got engaged, got married, bought a house. I don't know what he's up to this week. But I'll let you know next week.
Okay, thank you.
Jade says
say, the most uncomfortable I've ever seen a crowd was that Chris Hero versus Kimberly match, where like everyone in the crowd is just sitting there like, "What do we do about this?" Like,
I don't even remember.
Second favorite.
We came here to see Chris Hero. We don't want to boo him. Anyway, Jade, I apologize, Jade. I keep cutting off your question.
One time, I'm going to go back to Kimberly. One time at Kimberly was supposed to be at AIW and she wasn't. And either the next day or soon after that, she was at Chikara and I asked her why she wasn't there. And she said, because I didn't want to be. And I was like,
and when she said that, were you just like overpowered by like the fumes coming off of her breath?
I just thought she's right. Why are any of us at AIW?
It's such a good point. I love that.
Jade, a Hulk Hogan lie that you wish were true. I already know my answer. I like the thing where he talks about there being 400 days in a year if you play it right. I think that'd be cool. Like you go back and forth on an airplane and like you get some extra work done. You spend some extra time with your family.
It's not a lie as much as it's like an internal truth that Terry and Hulk Hogan have two different sized penises.
He believes that, so I don't know if that counts as a lie.
Yeah. I mean, he said it under oath.
Truly.
If it's a lie, it's perjury.
It's because like the character can truly have any size he wants. It doesn't need to be real. But Terry's package is what it is. He knows that. He's not an idiot.
As a wrestler, every time you go to a new territory, you can change the size of your character's junk. That's known.
That's known. Bruiser Brody talked about it fucking all the time.
He wouldn't shut up about it.
He wouldn't shut up. That's why he got fucking killed.
I always liked the Hogan stuff that was in the indie sleaze list, where I just assume it's all lies, even though some of it has been proven true over the years. But
Even though
superstar
Tony
Billy,
Khan wrote it all.
superstar Billy Graham, a famously trustworthy source, said about Hulk Hogan, "We're flying to Minnesota, and Hulk Hogan, who is sitting across from me, pours out a pile of cocaine onto a mirror. He offers me some, but I decline. Yeah, that's smart," he says. "Coke is a tough habit to break." Then he proceeds to shove 3 lines up his nose. Like, if that's true, Hulk Hogan's awesome. If that's false, I wish it was true. Also, that he's doing it on a plane seems especially crazy. Like, you hit some turbulence, and like, however much money Hulk Hogan just spent on coke is all over the floor, and he's committed a federal crime.
I mean, that's amazing. I didn't know that story, but because I've literally had someone try to sell me coke, and I said no, and he's like, "Good, this shit'll kill you," and just kept walking.
I love that. That's incredible. Cole, you got any answers?
It's hard to think of Hulk Hogan lies. I don't know why I'm blanking. I always liked the one where he said he was almost the bassist for Metallica.
That fucking rules.
It doesn't even really matter if it was real or not. That didn't really change anything, but it just would be funny.
I want everyone to know Cole's suggestion for the big top this week was, how about favorite wrestler lies? And he is struggling with
Hulk Hogan's lies.
With Hulk Hogan lies.
We tell so many.
I like the one where he's like, "I could smell the death on the Make-A-Wish kid." And then it's like, he wasn't at the show.
My favorite Hulk Hogan thing of recent memory, this wasn't a lie, this was, I think, an honest mistake on Hogan's part. When he tweeted out, like, "I think about Bam Margera every day. I wish he was still with us. Love you, brother." HH. And Bam Margera replied to it like, "Hey, Hulk, I'm still alive."
That's amazing. Andy asked us, in honor of March Madness, a lot of March Madness talk here, top 3 mental illnesses. I, again, only have 2 right away. I have bipolar, so I gotta rep that. And I think BPD is the hottest mental illness. I'm just gonna tell you, like, that's just, I've done the research and that's the truth. So those are my answers. I don't know if you guys got anything. Cole, you seem like you got some answers.
I can co-sign that. That's been my experience.
There we go.
We got to give it up for ADHD. We got to give it up for autism. And then number 3.
Is he a mental illness, or is that a physical condition, considering the brain trauma aspect of it?
Well, it's like downstream of a TBI, right?
Yeah.
You can probably call that.
Yeah, but it's not like a purely neurological thing that like just manifests. You have to, like, for CT to happen, you have to like hit your fucking head. So.
Yeah, but it still becomes a mental illness at that point, I would say.
If a pregnant woman falls down the stairs, do you think the baby could be born with CTE?
It's a really tough question.
Yeah, we really get into it on this show sometimes. Sam, what are your top 3 mental illnesses?
I decline to answer. Thank you for asking.
I think that's a mental illness, and it's one of my bottom 3 ones.
Cowardness. It's a mental illness.
Yeah, you get it. Thank you. All right. Nick Yeoman says, in honor of March Madness, I'm so tired of these fucking band geeks. What wrestling theme would sound best played by a marching band? Pass.
Sorry, it's not a wrestling. It's not a wrestling. Oh, you know what? Rolling. Final answer. Lock it in.
The answer to every single wrestling theme, but it's the DX theme.
Cole, you got an answer?
No, because I don't fucking hate marching band
Yeah,
music.
I respect you more now. Okay. Tim
Dave
says...
Dave Matthews Band is playing this summer. I should go see them.
Do you think they're a marching band?
No, Ant's go marching in, though.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, you're going to be really disappointed.
I don't think they have the trumpet. I think they've got a new trumpet guy, because I think the trumpet guy from Dave Matthews Band got canceled.
Oh, God.
That's what they call the Dave Matthews Band. You can just cancel all the rest of them except for Dave Matthews.
Now, Dave
Big
Matthews
Dave.
has this song "Gravedigger" that I was listening to, and I think it's funny, but it's listed as just Dave Matthews.
Ooh,
not the
interesting and
band.
original.
And I don't understand how that works.
Well,
And
I was literally thinking of this the other day.
it's like how Marilyn Manson is the man and the band. PJ Harvey's band was named PJ Harvey. I'm pretty sure the frontman from Iron Maiden is named Iron Maiden.
Tim has a really good question here, guys. In honor of March Madness, which member of the VP Discord makes you the angriest? And I'll allow you to pick people that have left. Pat, do you have an answer?
Everyone under age 37.
Yeah, the other day when people were saying the gross years they were born, I got really mad.
Occasionally there are people who are like, my first memory is like age 4 watching the fucking Abeyance storyline in 2015 WWE, and I just want to like fucking drive my car into a lake.
There are little
Tim, who makes me?
teenagers in the Discord.
Which
It ain't right.
If you're listening to this and you're a fucking sex creep, this is, stay away. If we have to pick them or you, we're picking them.
We fucking do.
Also, don't say slurs in the Discord, please. I shouldn't have to say this, but please don't do that.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions with slurs this week.
Dan has decided that it's in our best interest not to ask those or answer. You know who you are.
Next week we are having Tessa Blanchard on the show, but we got to power through.
Who has not had any issues. Who has not had
That
any
will be
issues, to my knowledge.
our first Spanish language episode, so I think it should be fine.
I'm trying to power through Duolingo now, but it's not going great.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be holding up my phone with like the fucking Google Translate thing.
I don't know. I'm just gonna say my answers. I don't know. Probably Quentin.
Damn. Rip.
Trying to get that podcast feud going. In honor from Ollie, in
It was
honor of the
Logan.
month where everyone I was setting Pat up.
Well, you see, no one's going to say a specific person because you're all. I actually don't suffer from cowardness.
Okay, how about Tanner, the guy who runs the Discord still?
That's a different story. That's a different story.
Don't call me out, man.
I didn't call you out.
Okay, well, I felt called out.
I could tell, Dan. You lashed out.
Okay.
New least favorite person, Dan. But actually not in the Discord, just in the podcast.
Oh, man. That's fair. I'm probably my own least favorite person of everyone who's ever been on the pod. That or Lucha Blogs Mike. In honor of the month where everyone cares about college
person
sport.
as his microphone?
Yeah, that's why it sounded like that. Wow. Best wrestlers who debuted under 18 of all time. That's weird. That's just every luchador, right?
Oh, yeah.
Also all the Japanese women.
Well, that's here's the thing. I feel like I get weirded out because it's like, yeah, I don't love that Billy Starks was worse wrestling when she was like 6 years old. I don't love all that creepy Joshi shit. But then I'm like, no, I do think it's cool that these 60-pound luchador grandchildren are wrestling. That's cool.
It's called your double standards.
That's what it's called. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it goes back to, again, you want to go away from the places where sex pests frequent. And so I think it's natural to think that Mexican men's wrestling probably a safer, more sane space than Joshi.
That's why Travis Banks went there.
He went there and he's dating a teenager.
But I mean, I know. I guess like the answer is probably like Rey Mysterio or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no.
Why did Flip get canceled again?
Isn't he just a fucking idiot?
Really, it wasn't like a hardcore cancellation. He's just dumb as shit, and he believes in like flat Earth conspiracies and stuff like that, and he posts about it. So it wasn't.
People were just
like,
making fun of him.
Yeah, he wasn't like grooming anyone that we know of. But people were just dunking on him so much, and like he was like the one being the elite guy who like didn't get the big call up. Well, I guess Marty Skrull didn't either for obvious reasons, and Joey Ryan for also obvious reasons. But yeah, Flip just fell by the wayside.
Yeah, Flip's
All
big
right.
thing was when the wildfires were happening in America. He posted a map of wildfires in America and went, "It's weird that these stop at the border," with like the thinking emoji.
That's crazy. I love it. Okay.
And then I think David Finley responded and was like, "You are the dumbest guy I've ever met, and I know Will Ospreay."
Anyway,
I fucking love when wrestlers are so dumb they make other dumb wrestlers seem cool and smart.
I just love when wrestlers are dumb. Period.
anyway, you know what?
Oh.
Good for him.
Yeah,
He's
Flip's doing
down.
great. It seems like.
Yeah, he's got a wife, a kid. He wrestles in CMLL, the greatest promotion in the history of wrestling. What's more to love? You know.
I can't speak financially to his situation, but he's definitely getting used more than he would be if he was the 70th guy on the AEW roster.
The thing about being like the 30th person on the CMLL roster is like it's really not all that different from being like anywhere from 10 to 20, 10 to 30, you know? They don't really care unless you're like in the top. And then they'll
It's
figure
more
out
about,
something
like,
to do.
It's more like, are you a 6th match guy? Are you a 5th match guy? Are you a
Yeah.
4th match guy?
And like he's not an opener. So he's just like he's in the card. He's in the mix in any given week. And that's really all you could hope for in CMLL. Is you're not completely forgotten and putting on a random show as
You're not getting
CMLL
stuck
representative.
Fucking, the Dr. Karante brothers.
Exactly.
You're not wrestling dark magic.
Dark Magic, not very good. Or Akuma. Anyway, what were we talking about, Dan? What was the question?
There's no way to know.
Okay.
It was about best wrestlers under 18.
Okay.
To debut under 18. So I guess they don't have to be good then. They could have gotten good later.
I mean, I think Rey Mysterio is still the correct answer.
Yeah, it's just there's like an easy answer there.
Could be it.
This one seems too hard, and I'm not going to answer it. Domich says, "What's the top 5 matches that ever take place during the month of March?"
All right, people got to stop asking for like top 5, top 6. Like, we do not prepare for these questions.
This is the first time I've seen it.
Can you name a good match that happened in March? Doesn't even need to be the best or close to it.
No.
Amazing.
You got one for me?
You could just pick any match from 16 Karat pretty much that was good and be like, yeah, that one. Just say Sami Callihan versus Big Van Walter.
No, I'm going to say Sami Callihan versus Davey Richards then.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
And you guys got any fond March memories of wrestling?
Chris Hero versus Ikuto Hidaka from Evolve 2.
That's a good answer.
Just gotta
first New Japan. I guess that's like always in March. Was the one Zack Sabre Jr. won against Tanahashi?
Okay, I asked Grok what pro wrestling match have taken place in March, and it is just telling me stuff from this month of this year.
Well, that's not helpful. I can tell you that right now.
So I will say Hologram versus Dralistico.
Perfect.
Love it. Okay. Chris is talking about how good the show is when he's not on. I think that's our questions, guys. Oh, wait. I have one just for Sam. What's the sports card you just bought?
Haven't bought it yet. I'm in a bidding war
for it. Yeah.
On eBay. There's multiple days left. I actually shouldn't probably say it because now someone's going to bid me up. And I am deeply invested in getting this. It is a card of Byron Leftwich. Byron Leftwich. Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback. As I support Tony Khan's favorite team.
Are we sure it's his favorite team?
Probably not. Probably
It
not.
would be so sick if he was just like, yeah, my favorite team is like the Patriots.
But we couldn't buy him. To be fair, that does feel a lot like every NFL owner. Is they don't, at this point, none of them actually like the team they buy. They're purely want to be an NFL owner and don't care what name on the jersey there is. It's sickening. People used to like the sports teams they bought.
Sickening.
Sickening. These rich bastards don't even care.
Oh, I found the one you're bidding.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna put it in the Discord.
Oh no.
I mean, the joke's on you, Dan. No one in the Discord has any money. Otherwise,
Oh my
it
God.
wouldn't be such a hub of piracy.
Sam gets on here talking about how he's spending money on sports cards and $48 to CMLL every week or whatever. Just
It's once a
flaunting
month.
his wealth.
It's
I
once a
wouldn't
month.
know. I wouldn't know, Sam. But that's Q&AR. Thanks for returning into that.
And that's been an episode of Violent People Radio. You can go visit us at violentpeople.co. We're on Blue Sky at violentpeople.co. We're on Twitter at violent_people. Go join the Discord. Buy a mug. Or just donate.
Absolutely buy a mug.
With our Ko-Fi link. No one's bought a mug in a while. Now's the time. I use it every other day.
You are
Buy a mug.
stupid if you're drinking things from, like, if you're just drinking out of your fucking hand like an animal, buy a mug. You need something to put the liquid in to drink it out of. Get a mug.
The mugs are nice. I have an enamel mug. It's nice.
I mean, what more do you people need to hear? It's a nice mug. It's made of enamel. It's made out of literal tooth enamel.
Okay, Jesus.